So we are at the entrance of the house. What you see here is a sago palm. It's a very commonly seen landscape plant. This is actually not a palm. This is a plant that belongs to a group called cycad. And these plants were around when the dinosaurs were around. And nearby that plant is an called an yellow bell or esperanza, and you can see that berries as well as the flowers around there. And nearby that is called Prida barbados, and this is a leguminosae type plant, and that fixes nitrogen. And you would also see that very commonly around that it was kind of imported plant, not native to Texas, but these plants, coexist very well with this is a lantana, and this plant is native to Texas, and all these plants you see outside are deer resistant. Okay, so now we are kind of entering the house, and you can see the background of the house, and you see butterflies all flying around. And this is a cactus. It's one of the cam plants. We studied that in photosynthesis, and they are very efficient in using water. And nearby the cam plant is lemongrass. And this is common in Asia, and you can use it in herbal tea and so on. It's very fragrant, and Thai dishes commonly use that. So as you can see, the house has a solar panel placed on the roof. So 80 to 90% of the electricity that we collect is from the solar panel. Okay? So if you go around, there are a lot of oak trees and cedar. We try to clear as much cedar as possible. But here's a plant that you can see at the bottom. This is called as a pink muhly grass. This is something we are trying this time, and see how it works. And we have about 6 of them, and we are just trying to plant along the sidewalk. And so we'll go into the backyard, and also you can see the different types of plants along the way. So this one is commonly known as mountain laurel. It's a very highly fragrant flowers. You will see that around UT campus very commonly. And near that, these are all like a boxwood that kind of didn't stand the heat of the summer, and especially when we were in Singapore, and I couldn't maintain that, and but half of them survived, and the rest that we are going to replace them. Okay, so coming back into this, and you would see a bush of curry leaf. This is a plant that we commonly use to make dishes, and Indian vegetables and Indian curry is a very common to see this curry leaf. And near the curry leaf, this is called as a Christmas bell cactus, and this is not flowering right now. I'll show you a flowering plant later on the slides, but this is something the deer loves to eat the flowers. So we put a cage around it, but deer doesn't touch the onion. So these are all like an onion plant I have, and this actually were seeds collected from the same place. And after the rain, this is another Christmas bell cactus, and you can see that beautiful mushroom. They just show up after the rain. Okay, it's very common, and you can see the overall landscape is a hill country landscape, and so we have a steep kind of the backyard that we built a terrace garden around. And let's go inside. So these are the backyard. You can see raised beds, because the soil here is all very limestone soil and rock, and not much will grow in that. So we have to actually bring soil with compost and start planting them. So these are some new, plant that I got. One is a pineapple guava on the left, and then this one is the blueberry that I'm planning to plant them. So if you keep coming, there's some of those plants we are just letting it stay dormant for the winter time. All the others that we just let it grow until the freeze comes in. As you can see here, these are all different types of peppers. and we have jalapeno peppers, Thai chili peppers, and some bell peppers. Bell peppers are not growing that big, but all the other types of peppers, they're doing great. And behind that, you can see bitter melon. So look at this. This is literally taking over the entire space and climbing up through the gutters as well as on the wall. And so you see this melon has kind of an anti-diabetic property to some extent, not a great. This is like one of the secondary metabolites that we talked about in the class. And so the melon itself is very bitter, and so when it opens up, you can see one of the melon kind of busted, and it just ripe. But the real starting, baby melon kind of looks like this, and you can see it right there. Okay, so that is the baby melon, and then it just grows bigger than that, probably about 4 to 6 inches tall. And embedded within this, you will see betel leaf. This is actually a different variety of betel leaves, and it is not pungent as the betel leaves that they use in India. So you can see all these, bitter melon is kind of trying to take over. And then behind that, you can see a terrace garden. So instead of having a 20-foot concrete wall, we just built it with a 4-foot wall, a 4-foot space where we have canna. And these are also belong to the, all Musa family, like the banana family. And we planted that. And if you look at the second level of this terrace garden, you see a bougainvillea right at the left, and then you can see all these are knockout roses. At this time, the new buds are starting to come, and they will set flowers probably in a couple of weeks or so. And we love watching them and hanging around in the backyard, as you can see that. And I'm walking towards the lily pond. The picture that you see on our course webpage, and this plant, what you see here, is called flaming acanthus. So this is, hummingbirds love this plant. They just come and hover over this for a long time. And I have a bush that completed flowering, and this is the new one that butterflies as well as hummingbirds love this. These are all canna, and this is a kind of a berry type plant, but it's not flowering yet. And the one you see here, coming close up, is hibiscus that we have a nice, beautiful flower today. But we got, a lot of buds are already kind of waiting to bloom, as you can see that. And coming into this is our lily pond. We have a rose, pink, and a yellow lily, but yellow lily is very rare to bloom, but the pink and the rose, that comes up very often. So this is a water cascade that, we run water from the pond all the way up, and then the cascade, we turn it on once in a while. And side of those cascade, you can see that, purple heart. This is a purple heart. You will find this at UT on Dean Keaton Street. And also near that, I have planted some of the fossils that I collected. These are about 100 million years old fossil. Yeah, the water lily is not blooming right now, but you also, there are a lot of leopard frogs inside this water lily pond. They come in the nighttime and croak, and they go around and feed on different insects and stuff. So you can see that background, and we have quite a few deer that comes in there. And I'm kind of walking and backyard, going through this canna, and you have another type of bougainvillea right here. Okay, so this is the second bougainvillea, and let's go into. These are all swimming pool equipment, and you can see these are jasmine plants. So these are fragrant Arabian jasmine. They normally bloom during the summertime and late spring up to early fall, but this is all kind of winding down right now. Because now we are going to the other side of the backyard, extended garden, and you can see the pool, as well as the view of the Great Hills area. And so this is a lot of oak trees and cedar trees. We cleared all of them, and we started planting the plants that we love to have. So coming back into the plants, and these are um, called sweet basil, and you can see it's a lot of bees come for this, and so they love the flowers, as well as the hummingbird doesn't come much, but the butterflies and bees, that they love these flowers and the fragrance. And behind that is a thing called red yucca. So this one blooms and stay fresh for months. This is some of the very kind of the rare plant. The other type, it's common in Texas, but it is kind of bloom is rare. This is called bachelor button, and these purple ones, they also stay for months, and then they dry up, and then new plants start to come up beyond that. So within this cluster of sweet basil, you can see the banana plant. So this is a dwarf variety of banana, and they don't fruit or anything. We just love seeing them. And so all these are kind of a naturally grown, and we had one or two basil, and they started multiplying themselves. Okay, so coming into this, so these are all the first group of plants you see here is a moringa. This is very rich in protein. They're originally from Africa and India, and it's widely grown there. We normally have, it's called drumstick, and these are the flowers, but they don't set fruits here. And right next to that, you see here is an aloe vera. It's a very good medicinal properties. And then right next to that is a fig tree. This is a kind of a dwarf. It can grow big, but in this being in potted soil, it doesn't grow that tall. Okay, so let's walk around this area in the backyard, and let us see. This is more aloe vera, and then right next to that is a mango tree, but it is all in a pot, so they don't grow very big. And right next to the mango tree is a tamarind tree. So this is what is like a very sour type of fruits that they set. That's a tamarind tree. And then coming over here is a Thai lime. So this is a Thai lime, and it's very good for soup and so on. And we just kept this growing for more than 10 years, and we take it into the garage during winter. They won't stand winter. And below that, you see here is a lantana. This is a native to Texas, and birds drop the seed that they just grow like that. And all these places were covered with cedar, and we cut all the cedar and we piled them up here, as you can see. And I'm kind of planning to use this for building trail or something, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, and this is a trumpet vine, and you don't see any flowers. They already done flowering, and so if you come here, you have more mango tree in the pot. So, and here what you see here is called snake gourd or a snake melon, and some of them are fruiting right there. And you can see that snake gourd. There's a striped variety, and this is a medium, not very long, and so they are pretty delicious to make some curries. And so they were struggling during the summer heat, but now with the cooler weather, they're doing much better. And these are raspberry that you see here. They're just starting to grow, and I have two of those raspberry on the vine, and they set the fruits, but the deer, they will just put their head inside the fence and they eat them. So this is basically to protect the plants from the deer. So this is a star jasmine. We just planted it this summer, so it's just starting to grow, and they set flowers only during April, and they're very fragrant, but they don't last for very long. Okay. And coming into the next raised bed is called Malabar spinach. As you can see that this kind of climbs around, and you can see the berries of this Malabar spinach, and they're pretty beautiful to look at. And so the way they kind of tangle and then they climb, it's just nice to see. And also we can make salads and curry with this. So this is a hyacinth bean. As you can see, this is similar to what like Gregor Mendel did to his garden pea, that same family. But this is not the same thing what he used. And these ones, they set parts, and you can see some of the parts are dry, and we just let them grow for developing seeds. And all the flowers you see there, they're pretty purple. And so this was also struggling during summertime, and then they start to grow up well now. Hope we get some more parts out of this, and so that's also very edible. So this is a dwarf guava tree, and we just put it on a box because it's very hard to dig anything into the soil. It's all rock. And so this is a peach tree, and it's still starting to come. All these things we planted only this year and with this summer, and they're just coming up, and they hope to grow better. This is another hyacinth bean, and this is also an edible variety. And this is a pomegranate tree. So you can see that pomegranate. We had two of them, but they're all gone. The squirrels come and get them. And next to that is a fig tree. This is just, again, planted and is starting to come up. The winter, all the leaves will fall, and then they will start to come back up. So here is, yeah, Gala apple. I don't know if it's going to really set fruit or not. Just for the fun of it, we planted and see what happens next couple of years. The last one is a pear. And so this is also, we just put that this year and hope, they set flowers and fruits next year. Okay. So all these, we just continue with some more Turk's cap and Altia. So these are some more additional plants, and there's an American beautyberry, and all these are some more canna, and we try to grow some Boston fern in here. So if you look at that, I'm getting out of the backyard, as you can see, all the oak trees and a few other type of basils, another thing that we plant. And so this is a tree called jacaranda. This is not native, but its leaves are very pretty, like a fern-like leaves, and they grow pretty tall. We wanted to fill up the gap with this tree. Okay, so coming back into this, you can see the side of the house and the pool. And coming into this, we have a row of plants. And so this is a Thai basil. Okay. And so this is another plant we call as an omum. And this oregano is an English name. And that's also just coming out as a herb. Okay, so let's get back outside to the front yard. And so I can show you, there's a lot of, deer comes in, and you see a lot of, asters that flower. So we let the, wildflowers grow as they come. And there are some like a purple flowers like here called verbena. And so we just, keep it as natural as possible. And what I'm So this is a berry, okay, called possum holly berry, I think. Or some of them are different type of berries there. So this comes only during the fall season. So we let rest of the lot pretty natural, and so we don't maintain too much of that. Let the deer enjoy the rest of the natural landscape, and you will see some of them flowering plants like asters here, and so that the honeybees, they love this type of asters. And some we try to put some rock type gardens, and you can see the rosemary here. This is a lavender. This is also lavender. Again, a rosemary here. Okay, and for the trees, we try to make these we call it a dry stack wall, retaining wall, so that they collect water and then they do well. Okay, so here, this is another lavender here, and a variegated ginger. We'll see better one on the other side. So this is called bottle brush. So this is a bottle brush, looks like a bottle, and this is salvia. So this is native plant, drought tolerant, deer resistant, and this is another lantana that you can see here, the flowers. This is also deer won't touch it. They're toxic plant. This is a Pride of Barbados. They're done flowering, and we are at the front of the house. You can see some of the knockout roses. So these also bloom, and they're just starting to bloom for the fall. And you have more of this Pride of Barbados. Okay? And if you look at that, the front yard that I am looking at, this is the front view that we get up and we can watch the sunrise and moonrise, and you can see some more dwarf banana plant in the front. There's a lot of area we want to put some wildflowers, and you can see these purple flowers right at the bottom next to the banana. That's called verbena. So I'm just walking towards yeah, plant called as purple sage, which is actually not a sage. It belongs to a different group of family plants. And you can see that this also, the bees and the butterflies love to feed on the nectar of these plants. So this is a very dwarf variety. No, dwarf we started, then they started to grow tall, and it's a very common landscape plant in Texas. Okay, so this is again all the oak trees and everything that I'm kind of coming towards the front of the house, and you can see there's some of those stone benches we made from the rock we have, and this is a magnolia. This magnolia, the deer actually, to sharpen the horn, they just broke the tree into a smaller branch or a twig, and this is one of the earliest evolved flowering plants. Okay, and coming into the next group of plants here, this is called Vinca rosea. It's called Catharanthus roseus, and they make wind blasting out of this. This is one of those medicinal plant, and deer don't touch them. So they make the chemical to be treating some disease, but this is something deer don't like the flavor or the smell of it. So this is a lavender. As you can see, that plant, this also very fragrant. And next to the lavender is a variegated ginger. This also belongs to the banana family. It's Musaceae. And right next to that is bottle brush. This is in a full bloom, as you can see. And this can grow, closer to the window and pretty 4 or 5 feet tall. This was totally frozen when the last winter storm came. Unfortunately, they came back up. This originally it belongs to Australia native. It was introduced to Texas, and it's very drought tolerant, and it just needs a good drainage. Otherwise, it does well. So you can see the salvia again. It's a pretty similar to the other one you saw that, and this is a lantana camera, and this is also a native to Texas. We call it a tricolor lantana. And coming into this is the Pride of Barbados. You can see how the twigs are damaged. This is all deer trying to sharpen its horn. Especially the buck comes and then mess with this. We try to put wherever possible some cages like this to protect the magnolia, but they find some other brushes to go and break it. So that is how deer enjoy. So hope you enjoyed this garden tour, and with that view, I'll wrap it up.